So, I hear we're into some of the same stuff.
You are about to join the revolution.
The time has come. Your world will never be the same. You are listening to a sophisticated conversation.
Greetings and welcome to episode number 56 of Podcast Revolution. I am your host, John, Johnny T, JT, the Turk, Johnny T again, and joining me via Skype in Germany is Tab.
It is I, Tab.
Alright, well, it's been a good episode, Tab. Say your goodbyes.
Alright, see everybody.
See, if every episode was that short, we wouldn't get any complaints.
Yeah.
Or maybe we would, but different kinds of complaints.
Yeah, one of my friends complained about that, how it's too long, and I was like, what are you talking about? It's the perfect length for, like, everything. It's like a soundtrack to your life. You just, you throw the iPod headphones on, or what, CD player, I mean, whatever works for you, and you just listen to it as you do stuff.
I wonder if any of our episodes have ever been put onto a CD before.
I don't think so.
Who knows? Maybe someone has a whole collection of CDs, of 60 CDs.
Yeah, we get a 28-inch published by the record company.
Get some good vinyl, some smooth tracks.
Yeah, it sounds better on vinyl.
That's what the audiophiles say. And by audiophiles, I mean PH. Yeah, as you know that, but
yes.
People might think that I'm giving computer files as personification, which I'm not. Anyways, moving on. It's been a while since our last true episode. It's been over a month.
Yeah.
So, what's your excuse?
My excuse?
Yes.
My excuse is you were too lazy to hook one up.
Well, in my defense, I didn't feel like doing a full episode without my co-host Tab or Eric. I couldn't get Eric, but you were in the United States on vacation, and well, I don't know if it was vacation, but you were visiting, and I wasn't aware that you still had access to Skype.
Although much like in previous times, my internet connection was pretty shitty. So even if we had done an episode, there would have been the classic periods of me just kind of cutting out.
What you thought? This?
Yeah, exactly like that.
Yeah, we wouldn't want that.
Yeah. Luckily,
bitch, you're gonna die.
I don't have that problem.
Very good.
Bitch.
All right, so what have we done since the last episode?
Well, let's see. I mean, like you said, I was back in the States for a month, just visiting with a couple people with what little time I had. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it to the studio. If I had, we would have definitely done an episode, I think.
I think that would have been splendid, but that'll have to wait until I get to a new studio.
Yeah.
But, so, how was your time in the States? Has anything changed?
Not really. Really, it's changed so little that was what I noticed the most. Okay.
And was there anything you had to readjust to that you had you've grown accustomed to the opposite in Germany?
Yeah, the light switches actually. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but how the light switches are in, I don't know about if it's all of Europe, but at least in Germany, is that instead of it being just like a small switch, it's sort of a large panel that kind of rotates on a hinge, so like essentially it's tilting out on the top when it's off and at the bottom when it's on. So what I got used to is you just kind of slap the wall and you just hit the button. It's like a button almost. So I was like home, I kind of like slapped the wall. I'm like, why is the light not turning on? I had to like move my arm up and down to find the switch. It was very irritating. And then it took me about one day to get back used to the German stuff.
Okay.
Great story, Mark.
Yes.
No, it's not true. Don't even ask.
I think he's saying it's not true to the great story part.
Yeah. That's true. I feel like anytime I talk about like the fact that I'm in Germany, it's just extraordinarily uninteresting.
This is great. More is coming.
I hope that's not true. I hope you're not going to tell us more about Germany.
I'm not.
All right, good. So, in the last month, I really haven't done too much. The only exciting piece of news that I have is that for work, I'm an alternate for somebody who's going to India, so I might be going to India for a month.
If something like terrible happens to them.
Well, if something happens to their visa, which is happening because they're having issues. So, I might be in India for a month. Who knows? But I'd still try to podcast from there.
Yeah, you could do a India special and interview the local people.
I could, actually. Bring my little audio recorder and do an India special. Yeah. Make some enemies for Eric.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they have... I wonder what the Indian equivalent of cages is.
I don't want to know. Well, it doesn't actually take much to be an equivalent to cages. You just have to not work and sit on the couch all day.
And watch, I guess in India they'd watch Bollywood Dexter.
Well, in Cage's defense, he doesn't actually watch Dexter that much, just when it's on. But he does watch a lot of TV. And actually, it's funny, speaking of Cage's, last week, I helped him move back into school. That's a lie, too. I helped my brother-in-law move into school, which is the same one that Cage's goes to. And I talked to Cage's, and he was complaining to me that because of Hurricane Irene, he had to go back to school a day early, and he was all pissed off. And I told him he was one of the only people I know who'd be mad about having to go to school, to college, for an extra day.
Yeah.
Because, it's not like he was doing anything that wonderful for his vacation. All he was doing was sitting on the couch, and he could do that at school.
And he does do that at school.
Yes. So, I don't see how that's a valid complaint.
It isn't.
Oh, okay. Well then, that makes it easy. So, by the way, but when I was up there, I went to the beach and celebrated with some friends, and it was the 1-year anniversary of my wedding. And anybody who wants to can go back in time and look at the PPR special, Bachelor Party and Wedding Special, which I think is a pretty entertaining piece. Do you recall that particular episode?
Yeah, I just remembered how, you guys, weren't you, vomiting by the time you guys got out of Olive Garden?
Yes, one of us was.
I thought it was you.
Yes. What? That's because I foolishly said that I drink whatever anybody put in front of me. And
they just bought you a shitload of, weird drinks.
Yes, and it capped off with Eric buying me an appletini. So, thank you, Eric. But then after that, I was fine. But, yes, moving on. Yeah, that was a funny episode, though. And Bacteria Mike said pull out 30 times in it.
Oh, yeah.
Was that in that one or the Canada special, or was it both?
It might have been both.
But yes, so...
I don't know, it's been a while since I've done the marathon of episodes.
So, we should start doing some sort of award for our listeners to give them incentive to contact us, or do some sort of contest.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I have no idea what a contest, what we do. Maybe within the next episode or two we can work something out and give them some incentive.
Yeah.
Because we know we have loyal listeners and they are out there.
Yeah, my brother listens to the show now.
Was he happy when you got bashed by other people?
I don't think he listens to full episodes though.
Okay.
Which is unfortunate.
Well, maybe he'll get there. He'll build up an appreciation.
Well, I think that's what happens. You kind of work your way up to actually listening to full episodes, and then you just try and listen to all of them.
It's an acquired taste. If you listen to just a segment, you're like, wow, this show has no direction and it's terrible.
Yeah.
But then you keep listening and you say, you know what? It's oddly listenable.
Yeah, I mean, as I've advised you, I feel like it's good for a soundtrack. So either if you have a long commute or you're playing a video game where the sound isn't important, you just throw that on in the background. It's something nice to listen to. I think we have a fun sense of humor, and I think we talk about interesting things.
I think it's semi-normal people talking about semi-normal things.
Yes, I think that has to be like the new part of our opening theme song. Instead of, sports and girls, although I don't believe that's been part of the theme song since like episode 20.
Normal people talking about normal things. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's definitely possible. Actually, you know what I just realized? I never hit the record button.
Are you serious?
No.
Oh, that's probably good.
Yes.
Well, I gotta say, the fact that we're on the show, talking about the show, we're probably losing listeners by like the dozens.
Maybe they relate. Maybe they can relate.
To podcast problems.
Yes. No, but all right. So looks like we'll go to a short commercial. We'll come back, and we actually got several listener emails. So I guess that's what happens when you go off for a month. So we'll be right back after this. Breaking news, sponsored by EA Games. Tonight, we take a live look at GameStop for the premiere of Madden 12.
Buck Chips here for the midnight release of Madden 2012. There's a line forming of die-hard fans waiting for the store to open so they can purchase their game. So far, there's only one man in the line. Sir, can you come over here for an interview?
Well, no, I don't want to get out of line. I don't want to lose my spot.
Your spot, sir. You're the only one in line. There doesn't seem to be anyone else coming at midnight to buy this game. Do you mind just coming over here and having the conversation with me and the...
Well, all right, but if I lose my spot, you have to show people on your camera that I was here first.
All right, then.
All right.
Now, you're here for the midnight release of Madden 2012. Why is that, sir? Are you a huge super fan of this game?
No, that's not true. I was aware that the store was opening at midnight, and I lost my Tom Clancy Rainbow Six game broke, so I just wanted to buy a new one.
So you're not here for Madden 2012's midnight release?
Actually, yeah, I am, you idiot. That's called sarcasm.
Is it now? All right then. So you're a super fan of this game.
I actually do really enjoy the Madden. That's why I'm here at midnight, because I really want the game, and I'll get it and bring it home, and I'll play it right away.
That's why you're here. All right. How big of a fan would you say you are of this game?
You know, I'm such a big fan that it's such a unique game because I can actually put myself in the game, and I could see what I look like when I'm actually on the field.
Now, I don't want to seem disrespectful, but couldn't you do that in the past 20 versions of this game?
Well, you could, but this one's better because, you know, it has more facial recognition features.
Oh, I see. And how much is this game costing you, sir?
$60.
$60? Wouldn't you say that, is that expensive for you, or is that not really a problem?
If this game was $300, I'd pay the cost.
Good to know. For the
actually, this game has actually cost me more than $60. It's cost me my grades in class because I just play this game all day. I don't really care about school. It's cost me my relationships. I don't care about I traded in my girlfriend for Madden, not the actual man, the game.
Wow,
in case you didn't catch that.
That's dedication.
It's a very fun game.
I'll take your word for it, because I'm not a retard who plays a sport game. Back to you with this buck chips.
Alright, and we're back. Wasn't that a fantastic commercial right there?
Yeah, I'll probably buy what they were advertising.
Alright, so, like I said, we've gotten some emails, and actually, a few of them I missed in the past. And they actually go back to mid-July.
Oh dear.
So, I apologize for missing these. I hope you still listen to the show. Alright, so here's our first one from Joel. And actually, from now on, for people sending in emails, if you could just send in where you're emailing from, like just say Joel from Idaho or whatever, that'd be appreciated. But it doesn't matter, we'll still read it. Okay. Hey guys, I was wondering where those crazy sound bites you guys use come from. They sound vaguely familiar, like I've heard them before, but I can never seem to place them. I tried asking my more internet-savvy pal Alfonso, but even he couldn't figure it out. Could you please tell me? Thanks a bunch. Joel. Alright, Joel. Well, they're a mix of sound bites from this show, from other internet cartoons that are out there, and from actual movies, or other sound clips like YouTube with Christian Bale saying, "Oh, good for you." So, Tab, do you have any comments on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's from movies, some television shows, YouTube clips, and just stuff from the internet.
True. Don't even ask.
Robin, check them for STDs.
So, yeah. So, basically, that's what they are, but if you want to get them, maybe someday, if Davi has returned from overseas, for those of you who've listened to the show, and he says he'll set up a website for us. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but if it does, we can make them available on the site. So, we'll find out. Tab, what do you think about people who like our sound bites?
People can suck my dick.
Very good. Oh, boy.
Damn it!
Something the matter, Tab?
No, I'm fine.
Alright, just making sure. Alright. We got another email which says that the title of it is Urgent, Help Needed. And I didn't see it for about half a month after it was sent, so I kind of dropped the ball there. So, this is actually interesting, and a very unique email that I wasn't expecting to get. It's from Gabby Sanderson from Ibiza Rock's in-house manager, and so I looked her up, and the credentials are all real, so it's pretty interesting, actually. Alright. Hi there. My name's Gabby. I have been using Podcast Revolution to upload my podcasts onto iTunes. They seem to be doing well. For the past couple of days, your server has been down. Could you please tell me, is this something you are working on? As now the podcasts are no longer available to listen to on iTunes, although they're showing up in there. And I will be gutted if this work will be lost. I would appreciate you replying to this email as soon as possible. All the best, Gabby Sanderson. Alright, Gabby, I apologize for my delayed response, but for those of you who haven't noticed, the server that we have is kind of crappy. It's a free server, so they're not the most reliable. Sometimes they go down for a few days, but not anything I can really do on that subject. But once we have our own site, if that ever happens, that won't be an issue. Tab, do you have anything to say?
Nope.
Okay, but Gabby, I appreciate your listening, and I'm actually wondering why someone of your status listens to our show. It confuses me.
Where is she? What is she?
I'll Ibiza. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'll send you the links later. But
Okay.
yeah, it's just weird that someone of that status would listen to a show of this.
What is
status.
Ibiza though?
It's like a country, or not a country, but hang on. From Wikipedia, is a Spanish island in the Mediterranean Sea, 79 kilometers off the coast of Valencia in Spain, or Valencia, or however you pronounce it. So it is a big island out there.
Yeah, let me. Well, I think it's more like it's a. That's kind of where it's situated, but it's part of like. I think it's like a music blog type thing.
Oh, Ibiza Rocks, yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking about Ibiza itself.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But, so, yeah, Gabby, send us more information about Ibiza, because we want to know about your culture, because you've obviously learned a lot about ours, or our twisted version of it.
Show.
Okay, Tab, do you have any emails you'd like to read?
Yeah, let me just, you forward me one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here's one. It's from Cheryl Donegan. Dear PPR, I was
You have to read it in a funny voice.
Oh, right. Dear PPR, I was very offended by the remarks made by Frenchie in the PPR with low self-esteem special. He seems to be either ignorant or an asshole. I hope the FCC finds your show for his disrespectful remarks. I hope we don't see much more of him on the show from here on out. Cheryl Donegan, CPAP, Concerned Parents Against Podcasting, Iowa Branch 207.
Okay. Concerned Parents Against Podcasting. That is a new one.
Yeah.
And Ted, what do you think she might be so upset about?
Jews aren't a race.
That probably.
Jews aren't a race.
And how would Frenchie saying that be so upsetting? Actually, I think anybody who listened to that episode would know why you were so upset at that.
Yeah.
Yes, so... And in the description, I did say send all Frenchie and KCAP related hate mail to that email address, so I appreciate your following directions, Cheryl. Good girl. Just kidding. But, yeah. So, Tad, what do you say about the episode? Do you think we should try to cut back and make it censor ourselves? What do you think?
No, I mean, like, the FCC has no, reach in the internet, so, like, we can do whatever we want.
And we do say that the episodes have explicit content.
Yes.
So, I don't know why you're listening. CPAC.
No, CPAP.
Oh, yes, correct.
Or CPAP, as I would probably call it.
Pap smear.
Pap, yeah.
Okay, and we got one final email from Oliver. Oliver says, "Hello there, fellows. I am pleased to finally send in an email to the show. At current, I am listening through the archives on episode 50, and I have to say that I do love the show a lot. From Eric's love of Degrado to Cage's former non-knowledge of his own phone number to Tab's general scientific prowess, it's all quality work. I'd love it if you guys could post a soundboard of all those funny interjections from the show / from the commercials, should you ever separate them into individual bites. Also, could you guys get me in contact with Ramon? He seems like a hot little number, and I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't attracted to him based on his exploits. Much love to the show. Keep up the good work. Oliver."
Has this guy not been, like, paying attention to what Ramon has been up to? Because as we continue to remark, he is in a penitentiary.
Well, in Oliver's defense, he was only on episode 50 at the time of sending the email.
That's still not really a good defense.
That's a good point. Well, yes.
It's one of those things at first it was like, oh, how nice of him to compliment everyone on the show, and then it was like, oh, yeah.
So we'll see if we ever hear from Ramon again. We'll let you know. Everybody know. But as of right now, he's in prison, and we're not going to say which one because we don't think he deserves any recognition.
Yeah, we don't want him inundated with fan mail. That would only encourage him.
But anyways, so yes, as I said earlier, if we ever get a site set up, we could set up a soundboard and whatever else. And I'll make the commercials available. And as I'm sure you're aware, we have the commercial special. Maybe we'll do another one someday if we ever get the inclination.
Yeah.
Okay, so that about does it with emails. And for those of you who don't know, the email address for the show is podcastrevolution@gmail.com. And send in your emails, because we love to hear from fans.
Beat that dick, Douglas!
Yeah, pretty much. It makes me larger.
Oh my.
You're making my dick wet!
Very inappropriate. Alright, so Tab, what's on your mind?
Not much. You know, it's Saturday. I'm relaxing, maxing, chilling, killing. You know, just playing words.
Okay, I can agree with that. So back to the special from last week, the reject special.
Yeah.
Do you still? What's your opinion on it? Was it worthy of its own episode?
I think it was worthy of its own special, certainly. I remember when we first thought of the idea of actually using them again, we had the idea of like just making it a normal episode, but I'm glad we didn't, because it does not deserve to be a normal episode. It's like there's stuff that didn't even make it into that special, that if it was, it would have made it just like, it would have been like you know, the opening of the Ark of the Covenant at the end of Indiana Jones. You know, people's eyes would melt out, and it would be a mess.
Are you talking about your commercial?
I'm talking about everything that we didn't include, also including that commercial, which I hope it never makes it onto the air.
If you ever run for president, that commercial is gonna be on TV.
Yeah, I think if I run for president, you'll be the first one on my, you know, presidential campaign hit list.
I'll die of like getting hit by a train somehow.
Yeah.
Okay. Teb, would you ever run for president?
I don't think so.
And if you ever did, what would your platforms be?
My platforms? Probably some sort of anti-furry legislation, general tax reform, trying to balance the budget, maybe some change we can believe in, I don't know.
Who would be on your cabinet?
My cabinet? Well, what are the positions on the cabinet? There's the Secretary of Defense.
There's Treasury.
I'd probably just get, like, you know, some 5-star general. Maybe Clint Eastwood if he's still alive. I think he'd be a good Secretary of Defense.
Who would you get? Well, I know who you could have for your Secretary of State.
Jews aren't a race.
I think choosing Frenchie would be like the first step leading to my impeachment. So,
okay, then who would you make your Secretary of State?
Secretary of State, I don't know.
Well, I think maybe I could do it since I already have a general audience overseas.
Well, I was thinking I might just disband the cabinet, you know?
Disband the cabinet, and then what would you do?
Just do everything.
Okay, well, everything yourself?
Yeah.
You're a lone wolf?
Yeah.
Everything okay over there?
Yes.
Alright, just making sure. Okay, so looks like it's time for another commercial. Then we'll get back with a new segment that we've come up with. So, we'll be right back after this. And now, Mike the Canadian's public service announcement for nature.
Whoa, it's so nice being out here on the open water. Smell the salt, whales and shit. This is really nice. What are these kids doing over here? Hey, you kids, why are you playing your Game Boys? There's all this wonderful nature out here.
he thinks we're playing Game Boys. This guy's a retard! Yeah, this is PSP, retard!
Looks like a Game Boy to me. I mean, you got it there. There's no plug.
It's a PSP. It's a PlayStation, but it's portable.
So it's some sort of video game, though, right? I mean, it's like a Game Boy.
It's like a Game Boy, but it doesn't suck.
I don't know. My nephew's got a Game Boy. He really enjoys that thing. He plays the what's it called? The Mario Land.
Yeah.
But boys, I mean, there's so much beautiful nature out here. You got whales and stuff. It's so nice. Why?
I don't see any whales.
Well, of course you don't see any. You're playing your Game Boy.
Well, if someone sees a whale, they'll get all excited and go, ooh. Then I'll get up and look. But until then, I'll play my game and not waste my time looking at the water.
Well, I mean, nobody's gonna tell you there's a whale. I mean, we see the whale and we watch it. We don't need to be shouting about it like that with the whooping and the coughing like that.
Who are you? You shouldn't even be talking to me.
What do you mean? I'm just being friendly. I'm Mike the Canadian.
You don't even look Canadian. You look like someone Chris Hansen would be talking to.
Well, I'm not really familiar with Mr. Hansen there. Is he a friend of yours?
Yeah, he looks at child predators like you. Mom.
Oh my! I mean, I'm not trying to do any type of predating or anything. I'm just being friendly here. I'm just like the Canadian.
Yeah, you can't be Canadian because Canadians aren't child predators. You are a child predator.
I'm not gonna really take some talk like that. Where's your mother? I'm gonna have a talking with her about your disrespect for your elders.
My mother is looking at the whales.
Well, where is she? I mean, I'm sure you don't even know because you're so busy with her Game Boy there.
On the other side of the boat.
Fine then. I'll go have a talk with her.
Good.
You should maybe, get a little more fresh air and stop being so focused on your video games.
Alright, and we're back. Wasn't that a great public service announcement?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so, Tab, for this new segment, which we call Fill in the Blanks, basically this is going to be our trial run. So when we actually do it, it'll be with other people as a sort of... We'll make it into a kind of game where winning doesn't matter. But...
With all our games.
Correct. So for this game, what I'll be doing is I'll give you a scenario, and then I'll tell you where it ends up, and you have to tell me how we got there. So, for instance, I could say, Cages wakes up in the morning and goes and watches TV. Then he ends the day falling off his roof, and you could tell me how he got to that point. Which you're going to tell me right now.
Oh, so we're starting. All right.
Yes.
So Cages is starting his day, and he's just watching television. He's actually watching his DVDs of Dexter for the third time in that week, because he watches them just in a marathon continuously. He didn't sleep the night before, so he was really tired.
Oh, by the way, I can also interject and add to the stories. So, just let you know, and he discovers that his controller doesn't have batteries, so go ahead.
Which one is DVD or his TV remote?
That's up to you to decide.
Oh, okay. So he discovers that his universal remote is out of batteries, and he doesn't want to get out of his couch to turn on his television by pushing the buttons like some old fogey. So he's really torn up about it. So he sits there for like 3 hours, just unwilling to get out of his couch. So finally he's like, fine. I don't know what Cages sounds like, He gets out of bed, out of the couch, and rather than just turn the television on and turn on the DVD player, because he's just that extraordinarily lazy, he starts looking for batteries. So he goes to the kitchen, he looks around, no batteries. He goes to his bedroom, looks around, no batteries. He goes, into his parents' room, and he finds some batteries, but they're not the kind that you want to use, if you know what I mean. So he eventually is really upset, because now it means he's got to go somewhere and buy some batteries. And he doesn't want to spend any of his hard-earned money given to him by his parents.
And he doesn't have a car either.
Yeah, he doesn't have a car. So he realizes that, he's thinking to himself, I mean, he's studying to be an engineer, but he's thinking, well, maybe, do satellite dishes use batteries? So he goes and starts looking for a ladder to get up onto the roof where the satellite dish is, because he's got satellite television. So he's looking around, and he doesn't really know where you would keep a ladder, because he doesn't really do anything. So he wouldn't know where looking like a garage or like a workshop. So he's looking around. So he looks by the pool, and he looks in his parents' bedroom again. I don't know why he thinks he's gonna find anything there. And finally he finds himself in the garage. So he finds a ladder, but it's way too short to get up there, but he doesn't understand that at all. So he climbs up halfway up the thing. So he only gets to the second floor. And then he's just, at this point, it's baffling how lazy he is. He starts climbing up the paneling of the house rather than, just turn the television on. So now he's climbing just hand over hand. And when he gets up to the gutters, the whole thing comes down. He swings down. And at this point, he's hanging about, 20 feet off the ground. Because he's gotten up past the third floor of his massive house. And so if he drops, he's probably going to break his legs. So he starts climbing up this hanging gutter. And
he's still in his pajamas at this point, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, he's just he's in these fuzzy, single-piece footsie pajamas. Because he's too lazy to put on separately a shirt and pants. So, he finally makes his way up to the roof, and now he's in these just mud-covered, leaf crud-covered, fuzzy pajamas. So, and he's too lazy to wipe the stuff off, so he just, unzips the whole thing and just climbs out in, the buff onto the roof of his building, of his house. So now he's just naked on the roof.
And at this point, K-Cap shows up in his driveway.
So K-Cap, as we all know, is no fan of Cages. So he sees Cages up on the roof just completely naked, so he starts throwing rocks at him. And so Cages, as we all know, is actually an expert athlete in all sports, and so he's actually he's pretty nimble and starts dodging them, but he's also on this slippery roof because it rained the day before. But it doesn't help that he's completely naked, so he takes a couple rock shots to the rocks, if you know what I mean. And he goes down, and he falls off the roof. So now he's on the ground.
Oh, that's where the story ends. It ends where yeah, because I said it ends with him falling off the roof.
Oh, okay.
And you got us there.
Okay.
So thank you. All right, so let's try another one, wherein Eric starts the day by going to work, and he ends slipping and cracking his head open in the shower.
Okay, so Eric hops in his car, got to drive to work, long commute.
And when I say his shower, I mean just any shower.
Okay, any shower. So he's driving along, and he's feeling he's been lonely lately. Things didn't work out with cafe girl or bank girl. So he decides to make a quick pit stop at this truck stop. So he goes in, and of course, as we all know, Eric needs to shower constantly. So he figures that he's gonna get what he needs to get done at this truck stop, and then he's gonna go take a shower. But the truck stop's closed, so he's really pissed off because he really wanted to get some man meat. So he hops back in his car and starts driving again. And he's driving, and he gets to work, and he does his job, and he works the whole day. I'm not going to go into the details of it because nobody cares about what Eric does for a living.
But then I call Eric on his phone to warn him that danger is coming, but of course he doesn't answer his phone.
Yeah, he doesn't answer his phone, but now we know because of Johnny's call that you're being told about that danger is coming. So at this point, he doesn't realize it, but there are all these tornadoes that have formed in New Hampshire for some reason, and they're all converging on his office
in Massachusetts.
Okay, thank you for correcting me, Mr. Johnny T.
Yes, it's very important to the story because of Massachusetts laws that affect him.
Yeah.
Specifically, how difficult it is to purchase a gun there.
Yes. So at this point, because one of his people in the cubicle next to him hears about these on his little radio that there's all these tornadoes coming, and he just flips the shit out and pulls out a bunch of guns and starts handing them out to people, saying, "This is the end time. We gotta fight to survive. It's like Red Dawn meets Rocky Balboa meets 2012. We gotta fight to survive." Quoting the montage music. And, of course, Eric is thoroughly put off by his now psychopathic coworker. So he gets in his car and starts driving. He just ditches work and his insane coworkers and starts driving. And the tornadoes are chasing him now. All of them, all 20 of them, they stop converging on his office, and they're all converging on his car, and he's driving as fast as he can.
And his radio is stuck on one station, which doesn't help him.
Yeah, and it's stuck on 70s gay music. There's actually a station for that. And, I mean, he doesn't mind too much, but it gets obnoxious after a while. Just constant, Elton John music and, what else, John? What other music?
Oh, then he also, his auxiliary thing works too, though, but the only thing he has to listen to is PPR.
Well, yeah, and so at this point he's listening to the Self-Esteem special, and these tornadoes are closing in, they're literally right on the tail of his car, and they tear off the rear wheels, so he's just driving on the front wheel. That's all he's got going. The gas tank is missing. I don't know how he's still going. So finally he ends up at that truck stop he was at the beginning, and there's all these people sheltered in the truck stop. So he runs in, and he runs into a handsome young fella, and they go into one of the showers, and he drops the soap.
Oh my! All right, I don't think we need to get to the end for this particular one.
You just got to the end.
Oh dear! All right, so We'll do one more brief fill in the blank, and then we'll go to a commercial. So,
Thank God.
So for this one, I'll let you come up with the beginning. I'll come up with the end. Then we'll both come up with the middle.
Okay, the beginning is Johnny T and Tab are going on a road trip.
Okay, and the end is Tab goes to a football game and enjoys himself in some way.
You want to start up?
Okay, sure. So we take off in our car on a road trip. We're heading from the northeast, and we're driving to Washington, D.C. because Tab wants to look around there and try to run into the White House, and he wants to tell the president something, but he knows he actually won't be able to, but he wants to just go there and envision himself doing it. So they take off on the trip, and Tab starts talking about his plans.
Yeah, so I start talking about how I want to, tell the president this important thing. I want to tell him about the dangers of furrydom, actually, which is my main beef with his presidency. Is he hasn't addressed the issue. But as we're driving, we blow out three tires on the car because we hit a bunch of
even the spare tire.
Yeah, we blow out all of our tires on one of those spike traps that like some cops had that from like. I guess they'd been filming an episode of Cops the day before, and they just forgot to pick it up. So all our tires get blown out.
And somehow we didn't notice that there were like 30 cars in front of us with tires blown out.
Yeah. So there's this huge group of people who are just camped out in the middle of nowhere because all of their cars are destroyed.
So then basically we start walking around looking for help. And there's a lot of fights going on because people are saying that they're blaming each other for this traps, even though it was the lazy cop. So Tab goes in and tries to stop people from fighting. He says, guys, it's no one's fault here. Then someone grabs Tab's beard and just rips it out.
Yeah, clean off. My whole beard comes off, and like half of my face, and just blood just all over the place. So I'm bleeding profusely now. I'm really in bad shape. So John...
at this point, I whip out my cell phone and just start filming the sequence of events and save it for some future video PPR special.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I'm through my bleeding face trying to gurgle out to you to call 911. I'm like, and you're just laughing and filming because you're a sadistic son of a bitch.
But then that guy who pulled your hair out, he actually pulled too far. None of us noticed because we were too busy looking at your face, but he fell back over a cliff.
Yeah.
But at this point, we look over and he's hanging from the branch.
Yeah. So at this point, I've recovered enough from the terrible shock of my face being torn off to help out with us trying to pull this guy back up. But then at the last second, I go, you got my beard, I got your life, and I let go of him, and he drops to his death. And at that point, the ambulance shows up to take me to a hospital.
Then I ask the ambulance, where are all the cops? And they say, oh, they're at that football game. There's a big college bowl game going on downtown.
So Johnny says, well, take us there instead. We don't need to go to the hospital. Isn't that right, Tab? And I'm like, I'm in complete shock. I'm not even responding anymore. My face is what's left of my face is ghastly white.
You're kind of nodding, it looks like.
Yeah, you think I'm nodding. So the paramedics just load me up with morphine and they head off to the football game and they just drive onto the field and watch it from on the field because they're paramedics. And so I'm pretty doped up and I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying myself at a football game.
The end. This definitely shows your creativity to think on the fly.
I think the ones where it's both of us working together on the story is better than the ones where it's just me, because then it becomes very dry.
Okay, that's why it's an experimental thing. We're still working the bugs out.
Yeah, we'll improve the segment each time we do it.
And actually, fans, this is a way you can contribute at podcastrevolution@gmail.com. If you send us in start and end points for the fill in the blank segment, we'd appreciate it, and we will try to fulfill your fantasies. Yes. Anyways, looks like it's time for a commercial, so we'll be right back with recommendations. And now, a collection of commercials of scumbags trying to cash in on 9/11. Howdy, everybody. My name is Mr. Poontang, and I do have a special commemorative 9/11 piece that'll touch everybody very, very closely. And I have a customer here who's ready to see our unveiling. Here's our twin dildo 9/11 Never Forget model.
Wow, so tell me about this. I mean, it just looks like two dildos kind of strapped to each other at the base.
And it says "Never Forget" right on the side of it.
Oh wow, yeah, and actually, it's even got a two towers motif. They're kind of like rectangular on the ends, and we even got smoke coming. Is that smoke coming out of it?
Well, that's actually fake pubes that we had down there, but we made it really billowy.
Yeah, but what are these little holes on the side? What are those for exactly?
Oh, well, it doubles as a bong. Not that we endorse drugs, but sometimes they do help you so you never forget.
Right. And so how does it work? I see that there's these little. So you use these little plastic plane things as like the pipe to connect to the bong. I see.
That's correct.
That's very clever.
But you'll notice one of them's red and the other one's white, and the blue comes after.
Oh my. Wow, I mean, so they're connected to each other. So you've got one for the anus and one for the oh my.
That's correct. And so they're only 5 payments of $19.99, and a portion of proceeds will go to 9/11.
Wow, that's really great. And is this a limited run? I mean, how many of these are there out there? I mean, is it limited supplies?
Yes, it is limited for however many people want to buy it. That's how limited it is. Because we are patriots. We will keep making our 9/11 commemorative edition dildos.
You know what I mean? I was thinking to myself, this would make a great Christmas gift for the upcoming holidays.
It would, but the holiday of 9/11 is only right around the corner, so get them while supplies last.
Yeah, this would make a great gift for family, friends, anybody,
family,
really.
Friends, victims, whoever. So
yeah,
just don't forget.
I'll probably get one for myself.
Please do, because it's very touching, and we work very hard on this because we're Americans. Alright, wasn't that a particularly terrible commercial? See, that's another thing about this show is we acknowledge and understand that much of it is terrible.
Yeah, we have no pretense of being a good show.
No. But on the same token, since we acknowledge that it's terrible, that gives us a little bit more credit that we're not just oblivious and terrible people ourselves, which might in fact be true. Tab?
Yeah?
Okay. No, I was just thinking if you had any comments. But, okay, so for those of you who this is your first time listening to the show, thank you for still listening. And we end every episode making recommendations. Well, almost every episode. Well, in this one, we're going to recommend ways to stay entertained for long commutes. Tab, you have the floor.
Well, my first recommendation is the obvious one that I've made before, is listening to PPR.
Very good recommendation. I've done that myself.
I mean, I think it's a good way to just you have a conversation with the show. I mean, I'm not saying you need to actually be talking to the show, but it's nice to have a conversation going on while you're driving.
Yeah, it's a way to be distracted without having your eyes off the road.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. It makes time go by a little quicker. And sometimes you get a vested interest in whatever is being spoken about.
Mm-hmm.
I can respect that. All right, my recommendation is pretty similar, actually, but it's listening to audiobooks while you're driving, because it distracts you in the sense that you have to use your imagination and think about what's going on, but you can still focus on the road, or at least I can. So some people it takes a little bit of practice, but if you don't have, a lot of people say they don't have time to read. If you have time to drive, you have time to read.
That's right.
So And some audiobooks that I like, with some audiobooks, the person reading it can make or break the book, because if they have a terrible voice, then it's very unlistenable. But I'd say some of my favorite audiobooks are probably, and they also happen to be some of my favorite books, but that's just a coincidence. Maybe not. But Revolutionary Road and Slaughterhouse-Five are pretty good. Ethan Hawke.
I've been meaning to read Slaughterhouse-Five.
Well, if you get the audiobook, Ethan Hawke reads it to you.
Well, I'm not a lazy faggot. I can read it myself.
Is that how it is?
Oh, good for you!
I apologize for the delay.
Jews aren't a race.
Shut up, Frenchie.
Yes, this is Frenchie. Alright, so, Tab, what do you have to say about this episode? Or, actually, no, scratch that question. I have another question for you. How often do you listen to episodes that you're in?
Episodes I'm in, I usually listen to any episode, I usually listen to it once. I usually listen to it when it comes out, and then I'm set. Sometimes I would love to go back and re-listen to specific parts of episodes, but I can't remember what episodes they are, but I save them all onto my computer, so I have easy access to them at any time.
Good, yeah. I usually listen to them all once, and then sometimes if I'm showing someone a preview, I'll re-listen to one, or I'll just show them a clip of one that I like. But we do need our archivist to give us some info for our own show.
Yeah, I'll shoot him an email.
And I mean specific email, like words per minute, and like what percentage of the time I'm speaking, what percentage of the time you're speaking, and what percentage of the time is dead air.
Yeah.
So get to it, somebody.
Yeah.
Well, we need stats.
I know a guy who can help us out.
Okay, because we need to turn this into a sport, sort of, and have stats, and we could make our own cards.
Yeah, we can make the PPR trading cards.
Then we can make a PPR trading card game.
Oh my!
Like, Cage's special power could be like shutting down a conversation.
No, and then we can have like ability cards, or challenge cards, like have to learn your phone number.
And
where it's like if you're playing as Cages, you automatically lose.
And
or you lose 3 turns or something.
Yeah, it takes you longer to do it than anybody else. But if you get Bad Andy, you can obnoxiously play guitar while other people are talking.
And like if you're Kevin, like every 3 turns you have to stop playing and take a shower.
If you're K-Cap, you only have one move. That's call everybody a faggot.
So it's like a social game.
Yes, exactly. So, and what would my special move be?
I don't know. What would my special move be?
Well, I think my special move would probably be just trying to keep going to the next turn. Trying to keep moving. Keep the pace up.
Keep up the rate of play.
And I think your special move would be, like... I don't know. Informing people about stuff they don't need to know.
Probably.
Or fighting furries. And Eric's special turn could be not showing up. Not answering his phone.
Yeah, if you're Eric, please leave the game.
Or playing half of the game and then leaving. Okay, that's enough of that. Alright, looks like it's time to leave the show. Tab, say your goodbyes.
Bye.
Alright, that's I said goodbyes.
Oh, goodbye.
Right.
Down at 2.
Alright, that's functional, I guess. Alright, I'd like to thank Tab, I'd like to thank Oliver, I'd like to thank Gabby, And I'd like to thank Joel for emailing us, and Cynthia, I'd like to thank you too, even though you had less than pleasant... Cynthia, do you actually like the show besides that particular segment? Please say...
Your name was Cheryl.
Oh, whatever. Well, Cheryl, if you like the show, please email us back. And I apologize for messing up your name. But, and I'd like to thank myself, because without me the show wouldn't be possible. And please continue to email the show. And that should just about do it. So, goodbye. Das vidanya.